Okay, Rabotai, welcome everyone. I want to just bring out a Hakdama intro over here. That in our shiur over here, Baruch Hashem, we focus on life lessons. And when I speak about that, when we speak about it over here, I want to let you know, there was, you have to know, you will gain things that from the Chazal that will be applicable in your life, and you have to apply it when it's applicable. It's like, I'll give you an example. Freddie, do me a favor, shut the door over here. I'll give you an example, right? Sometimes in life, right, everybody's going to be tested. And tested, it could be in emunah, bitachon, it could be in shalom bayit, it could be in anger, it could be anything. It could be in laziness, it could be in anything. It could be in business, honesty in business. Everybody, you have to know, in life is going to be tested. There's no such thing as going through life and not being tested. Otherwise, what are you doing here? Adam la'amal yulad. Of course, what's the amal? Amal, really, the Gemara says amal to learn Torah. However, through life, there's going to be challenges in your life that you have to overcome. You have to overcome. And going over the shiurim that we're speaking divrei Hazal, that's important. It's emunah, it's bidachon, it's all these divrei Hazal that you have to not just hear it. It's always in your brain, review it, and apply it. Rabotai, this you have to know. Everybody knows this. It says, and I hope you do know it as well. In this week's Parashat Beshalach, Vayikach Moshe et atzmot Yosef. What does that mean? Vayikach Moshe et atzmot Yosef. Moshe took the bones of Yosef. Right? Very simple. What does it say on this pasuk, about this pasuk? Chacham lev yikach mitzvot. That's what it says. You know what the obvious question is? The obvious question is it a mitzvah or is it mitzvot? Did Moshe Rabbeinu take a mitzvah or did he take mitzvot? Which one? In this pasuk where it says Moshe Rabbeinu, everybody was going ahead and they did a mitzvah. Of course, they did a mitzvah of what? Of taking the gold and the silver of the Egyptians. And when it came to Moshe, Moshe says, "I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take mitzvot." What do you mean? Taking the gold and the silver and all the rechush and all the accolades, whatever was there, that's part of a mitzvah. So those people also took mitzvah. Correct, yes or no? If I came out of Egypt and I took out the boys, I'm serious, listen. You took out, Rafi, you took out a gold and silver, then you did mitzvah, right? And even Moshe Rabbeinu, he went ahead to take Atzmot Yosef. Why is it saying Chacham lev yikach mitzvot? It's what? Yikach lev, yikach mitzvah, not mitzvot. Which mitzvah? He did more than one mitzvah or no? Which mitzvah? Which mitzvah? He was taking the mitzvah of Atzmot Yosef. It should be Chacham lev yikach mitzvah. Why is it saying mitzvot? And second of all is, and everybody else wasn't smart. Chacham lev, you have to be Chacham to understand, to take mitzvot. What do you mean? Every person knows. You ask any 6-year-old. Tzedakah, you ask any 6-year-old in the world. You tell the guy, hey, man, you got a mitzvah. People know, everybody knows. So you have to say, who's a smart guy? Yeah, by the way, I want to give you an intro. Be smart, Chacham Lev takes mitzvot. Obviously, even a guy, even if you take a guy that maybe is not so involved, but he knows the Yikar is mitzvot. Chacham Lev Yikar mitzvot. You're a Chacham, take the mitzvot. So first of all, we have a few questions over here. Why do you say Chacham? Be Chacham Lev, understanding Chacham, and why do you say mitzvot? And they also took mitzvot. They also took mitzvah. Why do you say mitzvot? I'll give you the answer. You ready for the answer? Listen to what I'm telling you. A person in life has to know where you have to put your efforts. What do I mean by that? Where you have to put your efforts. What do I mean by that? I'll tell you, very simple. What does it say? It says, Hayam Ra'ah Vayanos. What does that mean? It says that, boys, one more time, you're distracting me and you're distracting other people. Stop. So it says, when he says, Hayam Ra'ah Vayanos, the seesaw, not seesaw, the seesaw, Hayam Ra'ah Vayanos, everybody knows what is it? It's all the Atzmot Yosef. And then it split. Why? What was the zechut? Yosef ran away from Eshet Potifara. Vayanos, he ran away. Because he ran away, it was such a big test that he passed. It was wow, that the Yam Suf, at the time of Kriyat Yam Suf, in the beginning it wasn't splitting right away. But once it saw the koach of Yosef, right away, the sea split. It saw such a power, it split, and everybody was able to survive. So Moshe Rabbeinu knew that. Moshe said, guess what? I'm taking mitzvot. Why am I taking mitzvot? Because if I take Yosef's bones, everybody survives. If everybody survives, now, look, I helped out. Not just I didn't take one mitzvah. You're right, I took Atzmot Yosef. But I know in the future, everybody's going to survive because of me taking Atzmot Yosef. So he thought in the future, wow, look at this. I get that. I'm not only taking one mitzvah, I'm taking a lot of mitzvot with me. Because now, everybody's going to survive. And now every mitzvah that they're going to do ahead of time, it have a zechut in. He take all the mitzvot. You understand what's going on? That's why how important it is where the Torah says we do a vidui on Yom Kippur, that we weren't the first 10 in Minyan. You believe that? Go look at the Machzor. Yom Kippur, Sfaradi Machzor, we do vidui. We say, Anna Hashem, sorry for not being the first 10. Why? I came to Minyan. What do you mean first 10? Who are you, the first 10 every day? Well, yeah. What's the problem? So I'm not the first 10? Well, you do vidui. You know what vidui is? On Yom Kippur, Lior was saying, Hashem, I'm sorry I wasn't the first 10. Go look. Why? What is it? You know why? Because the Pele Etz brings it down, and of course the Gemariyot bring it down. That what? That a person that comes the first 10, what happens? He gets schar, keneged everybody else. Why? Because he caused the minyan to happen. He caused the minyan to happen. If it wasn't for me being the first 10, there'll be no minyan. So you might say, what do you mean? 7:45, there's always minyan here in the morning. What are you talking about, Rabbi? So if I don't come, there'll be a minyan without me. No, you're not understanding. You started it. You started it. Anybody that comes after you gets zechut after you. Any person that walks in the shul after you, you have part of zechut. You don't take away his zechut, you get additional zechut. By us in yeshiva, forget about it. When being the first 10 in Minyan, Yom Kippur came, everybody was like, forget about it. And I remember in the Kolel, I'll never forget, we were all praying in the Kolel at the time, and it was like early in the morning, I'm going to be the first 10, I'm going to be the first 10, I'm going to be the first 10. And it was a whole what to do. And you see two guys walking in, and he's the 9th and he's the 10th, they're running to be the first 10. Why? Chacham lev yikach mitzvot. Be smart. You're coming to Minyan anyway. You're coming to Minyan anyway. So why don't go wake up yourself a little bit earlier, or come to the Minyan for Mincha or Arbit a little bit earlier so you could be one of the first 10s. Does that make sense? Chacham lev, that's what it is. What's the mitzvot? The mitzvot is he had a zechut that he caused everybody else to do mitzvot because of him taking that Atzmot Yosef. Everybody else survived, and everybody after that they able to have a zechut. You understand the heshbon? You see the heshbon over here. See the heshbon over here. Chacham lev. You be chacham lev. You kach mitzvot. You don't take one mitzvah. You think in the future. You think in the future. You think in the future. Think about it for a second. Chacham lev yikach mitzvot. That's why it says even by Mesechet Megillah Daf Lamed Bet Amud Aleph, it says Gelilah, putting Gelilah. If you look at the Gemara over there, Lamed Bet Amud Aleph, it says Golel. When you put the Sefer Torah right at the right spot, it's because of you now. Now everybody's coming to Minyan and they have the right spot because you put it in the right spot. So now because you, everybody's able to read it at the right spot because of you. And you hear the heshbon? You hear the heshbon? You got to be smart in life. I'll tell you just a few examples. In our yeshiva, we had a person who we had a coffee station, a big coffee station, and I remember at the coffee station there was a fellow over there that wrote. You know, people go get a coffee. We have 200-300 people in the yeshiva. They're coming down for a coffee. You know, they need a break, whatever it is. They're making themselves a drink, coffee, tea. Sometimes you have hot chocolate, or you get orange juice, whatever it is. So what did he do? He put halacha, 2 halachot every day. He wrote it on right where you get the coffee. He put it over there. I went to him once. I said, Why do you do that? What do you do that for? He said, listen, people, they're going down, they're making coffee, instead of just schmoozing, a little bit, and when they're not schmoozing, they'll see a little bit of halacha, they'll get a little bit Torah. He says, wow, Chacham Lev yikach mitzvot. He's smart. He wants to take mitzvot with him. So therefore, look, I was mezakeyu. How many times Freddie Sweat tells me, oh, Rabbi, I'm going to bring another person to the shiur. Says, why? He says, Chacham, he tells me, Chacham Lev, Rabbi, you taught us, Chacham Lev, you'll be Chacham. How? Mitzvot. Now what? He brings another person brings another person, and you don't know. It's the same thing. Let's say, take for example, I'll never forget this. When, I was sitting down at a wedding once, and I was sitting on a table, and as I'm sitting on the table, I see a fellow. He looks totally out of place from the wedding. He doesn't look like he's part of the wedding. Like he looks like he's not part of like New York, like one of these outside. I say, "How are you? Where are you from?" So he tells me, I don't know, one random place in the Boondocks. I said, "You have shiur over there? You have Torah over there?" He looks at me. No, not really. I'm saying no. I feel bad for him, like no Torah. I tell him, listen, you have a phone, you have something, you have a hear of Torah anytime. I told him straight. I said, there's also other websites, other things, Torah anytime. You have a lot of places where you could get Torah. I said, why don't you learn something from it? Why don't you see from it? Why don't you do from it? So he looks at me. He says, let me see. And after that, he's telling me, I'm downloading this, downloading that. What happens? Now, you just put it in his mind, whatever, there's a million other places where you get Torah, he starts listening. Torah. What? Chacham Levi Kach Mitzvot. It's very, very simple. You just have to tell the guy. I want to tell you something. People think a person might think Kiruv might be difficult. It's the easiest thing our generation. Easiest thing in the world. Why? Some people don't even know where to go. You see a guy, oh, by the way, the guy could be wherever he is. Come to class. There's so much Torah in the generation. Come to class. You see a guy. We have a guy over here. He learns with us every night. You know how he came? You know how he came to this shul? And I'll tell you his name off camera. I'll tell you everybody, you know who he is. He comes to this shul. I'll tell you his name right after the camera. I'll tell you, remind me. Right after it's off, I'll tell you exactly what it is. One day a fellow comes over here and he's learning with me. And he's learning more and more. I was like, where did this guy come from? I never saw this guy. He tells me, I live 2 blocks down. I said, how come I never saw you? And he said, because something happened. I said, what happened? He said he was on the train. This is a true story. He tells me he was on the train, and one of the guys from the shul came to him and said, hi, so-and-so, how you doing? So he says, I'm doing great. He says, where do you live? He said, I live over here, which was 2 blocks away from the shul. He said, are you serious? My shul is 2 blocks away from you. Come. He says, when should I come? Come tonight. The guy got so religious. From not going to shul, coming to shul, getting so religious. He doesn't miss minyan. Imagine, from not going to shul. He didn't go to shul. Now all of a sudden he's coming to shul. Chacham Levi Kach Mitzvot is this most simplest thing. Tell the guy there's a place, there's a shiur, there's a this, there's a that. Come on. Get him on the daf yomi. There's so many things that you can grab a guy. We're sleeping. See a guy, by the way, you have a place where you learn? No, I don't have any place. Come here. Take them, do them, tell them. It's so easy. We're living in such a generation. It's so easy. It's the easiest thing. You know, there was a guy, my chavruta, he lives in Marine Park. You know, he tells me, he says, there's a guy on his block. Every Shabbat, there's 30 kids in his house reading Tehillim. I said, what? How did that happen? He said one day, he walked outside, it was a summer day, and he sees the block, everybody's around the block doing nothing, zero. They're all running around, free for all, doing nothing. They're playing, kids are playing, doing nothing, really nothing. So he brought them in. So you guys all want candy? He says, yeah. Okay, no problem. He sat him down. He says, we're all going to read one perek of Tehillim together. And he got them all, no joke. He got them all, everybody gets a candy. Everybody make barach. He doesn't finish like that, he's a smart guy. He said, everybody said one perek of Tehillim? Yeah, he got everybody perek Tehillim. Now I got to give you candy. Now he's giving them candy. You can't just take candy like this. Everybody has to answer Amen to his berachah. Everybody's going around having a berachot party now. Every Shabbat he's been doing it. Chacham lev, yikach mitzvot. A person that's smart, yikach mitzvot. Take mitzvot. Take mitzvot. Moshe Rabbeinu was teaching us that. Don't settle for just little. Settle for a lot. Think big. Think big. Some people think they can't do it. They can't. It's a bunch of nonsense. Nobody can do it. I have news for you. Nobody can do it. You know why? You know how I know nobody can do it? Because you need one thing. You know what it is? Samech Daled. You know what Samech Daled is? Siyata Dishmaya. You think that you could open up a knis, you think you could open up a shiur, you think that you need Siyata Dishmaya. That's what you need. That's what you need. Look at Rabbi Aziz. He came over here as well. What happened? But look at the Siyata Dishmaya he got. Right away, he said, Rabbi, I want to teach. Boom. He had a class, 4 guys, 5 guys. Every other night he's learning with them. Siyata Dishmaya. It happened. Did it happen out of nowhere? It happened almost out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. It was Siyata Dishmaya. So people have to understand it's all Siyata Dishmaya. Learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. Yikach mitzvot. He didn't take one mitzvah. He thought big. He thought grand. He thought amazing. Rabotai, let me just say one more point about this. And that is, it says, Vayikach Moshe et atzmot Yosef. What's the next word in the Torah? Imo. Doesn't have this, obviously he's taking him. Where is he taking him with? It says, Vayikach, listen, Lior. Vayikach Moshe et atzmot Yosef. Why did it say Imo? What's Imo? Obviously with him. Where is he going to take him? He's taking him with him. Wait, he's going to give it to somebody else? He's taking it with him, right? So what's Imo? You know what the answer is? Because there's another thing that you have to know, that you must know. And everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. But a person, when he's doing a mitzvah, he's taking with him forever. Imo. It's eternal. It's eternal.